Coming up on today's episode.
Less good news as a Man United fan, however, credit where credit's due, etc. The ones that are pushing for various positions, that extra bit of boost, whether they've won that or not, I'm not sure. However, if they do go into it, they'll probably be the favourites to win it. Back home, you know what I mean? I say back home, where it belongs, where it should stay. Yes guys, welcome back to TIFC, I'm Coach Indy. Today you're watching another episode of the Premier League Appetiser Show. Coming up on today's episode, we're talking all things game week 35 results. They haven't all quite finished yet, there's still a couple of games that need to be played, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. We'll also just preview a few of the games for game week 36, not too many. Quick turnaround, so we won't talk about that too much. There's also Indy versus rest of the world results. Again, not completed this time round. However, we'll still tell you what the results are at this stage and what the permutations could mean going into the last sort of 2 to 3 game weeks. And then also there's some injury news and some other news as well, and that's where we're going to be starting. So other news, and the first thing I want to talk about is Manchester City and Chelsea have both reached the Champions League final, so big congratulations to them. And also Manchester United have also reached the Europa League final, so congrats to them as well. Speaking of Manchester City, they've also won the Premier League. Results have conspired or gone their way, if you like. We'll talk about a bit further when we come to game week 35 results, but they are the champions, well deserved. It was ongoing and oncoming for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it may be. It's kind of inevitable. So they've won their third title in 4 years with Pep, which is really, really good news for them. Less good news as a Man United fan, however, credit where credit's due, etc. Emma Hayes, guys, she is obviously the women's boss at Chelsea. She has reached the Champions League final as well, and she's also just won the league. So congrats to her. The main reason I want to talk about that is because she's the first female to reach the Champions League final in the women's game. Now, every time whoever's got to the final, whether it be Wolfsburg, Barcelona, Atletico, etc., it's always been a male boss. She's become the first female, which is really, really, really good news. And for me, she could absolutely be the England boss in the future. And no doubt she'll be eyeing that up as well. Jose Mourinho, he is going back into management. He will be joining Roma as of next season. Obviously, he got fired from Spurs a little while ago, and now he will be joining Roma as of next season. So he's back in to work, which is what he loves doing, loves to work. West Brom and Fulham have both been relegated from the Premier League. That completes the full quota, if you like, of relegation teams. So all three have been relegated now. Kind of been inevitable for quite a period of time. There was a stage about 6 weeks ago where Fulham had a bit of a fighting chance, likewise with West Brom, but both were faulted. So the likes of Brighton, Burnley, etc., Newcastle can sort of breathe a bit easier now. Juventus, this is an interesting one. Juventus face Serie A expulsion. Reason for this is because they have yet to sort of leave the ESL, and Serie A have come out and said if you don't leave the ESL officially by the start of next season, then you will be basically no longer playing in the competition, which is massive. If you think about the players like Ronaldo, for example, playing there, this could mean if Juventus continue with it, I don't think they will, but if they do, they're going to have to offload a lot of players because they're going down in Serie A B and they just can't afford the wages, especially someone like Ronaldo. So the Champions League final was meant to take place in Istanbul in Turkey. However, Turkey have just become a red listed country here in the UK. They've just had their first lockdown situation, started sort of 2-3 weeks ago, which is quite remarkable considering we've been in a pandemic for over a year. Obviously, Chelsea Man City in the final. Can you imagine 10,000 fans going over to Turkey, potentially catching some stuff and then bringing it back to the UK? It'd just be an absolute nightmare. So, yeah, the UK have put Turkey on the red listed country. On the back of that, Aston Villa put their stadium forward to say we can host the Champions League final. Good on them. However, as the days have emerged, UEFA have said that the only stadium they're interested in the UK is Wembley. So obviously that rules out Villa. However, UEFA have said they need about 2,000 members of staff, people, sponsors, referees, etc., coming from various countries into the UK. And the UK have turned around and said, no, we don't want to do that. So on the back of that, it's pretty much confirmed that Portugal will be hosting the Champions League final. So in a roundabout way, we've got there in the end. A couple of positive bits of news. Cavani signed a year extension on his contract at Manchester United, so he'll be staying for another year. That's brilliant news for especially younger players, but just in general as a Man United fan and as a team members, very, very pleased with that. And then the last thing I want to talk about, guys, really, really good news. After game week 36, which is the next week, so as of game week 37 and 38, we'll have fans in the stadium as well. So every team will have one game where they'll have up to 10,000 fans in the stadium. So that's really, really good news. Obviously, just good to just sort of have fans back in the stadiums, and obviously that'll give the ones that are pushing for various positions that extra bit of boost. So yeah, everyone will get a one home game, which will be really good news. So yeah, up to 10,000 fans, which will be really good. Moving on to some injury news, there's a few bits to talk about here. One big bit of news and other bits that sort of, they are relevant but not huge news. So Callum Wilson picked up a hamstring injury in the Leicester game last Friday. He's going to miss the last 3 games for Newcastle. In that same game, Johnny Evans picked up an injury in the warm-up. We're not sure what the extent of his injury is. He missed the midweek game against Man United, hoping to be back for the FA Cup final at the weekend. De Bruyne, he missed the last game as well. We don't know what the injury is. Hoping it's minor for Man City's case, but we don't know. And then the last one to talk about is Harry Maguire. Now, he came off injured against Aston Villa. Looks like he's done some ligament damage, which is really, really bad news for Man United. Not so much in the league positions, if you like, because they've pretty much all but secured second position, or definitely Champions League position, but second position is very, very close. It's more so the Europa League final, and then beyond that, the Euros. So Solskjaer's come out on the back of that and said, firstly, he's pleased it's not no fracture, but the bad news is the ankle ligament damage, so that's not great news. But he's going to miss the rest of the Premier League campaign. He's got a chance potentially for the Europa League final, however I doubt he'll play there, and that might also rule out his European Championship appearance for England in the Euros as well. So let's kind of have to watch this space from that one. But really, really bad news for England and for Manchester United potentially. Going to move on to game week 35 results then, guys. So just going to whiz through these. So the Friday night game, Newcastle were away to Leicester City. The game finished 4-2 to Newcastle. Newcastle actually went 4-0 up, and it was an absolute shock. I think no one saw this coming. I'm sure this would have killed a few hackers. Callum Wilson actually did score a couple of goals in this game. It's only later on that it was revealed he had a hamstring injury. Joe Rick also scored. He's in great form as well. And then Leicester got a couple of goals back late on as well to sort of make it a bit more respectable. But fair play to Newcastle. That, like I said, well, at the time it hadn't secured their place in the division, but on the back of that, other teams have now lost and they are safe in the division. Moving on to Saturday, early kick-off, Spurs were away to Leeds, finished 3-1 to Leeds. Pretty much a no-show for Spurs really. Son scored an equaliser in the first half, but yeah, Bamford who scored goals and Rodrigo as well who scored as well. So good win for Leeds. We'll put some back on the straight and narrow if you like. Sheffield United versus Palace, this was an absolute shocking game. Both teams were, well, Sheffield United were really awful, and they made Crystal Palace look good. They weren't really good, really, if I'm totally honest. But Eze was the one sort of spark, if you like. He did play well. He was involved in both goals. Both goals were deflected, but he set up Benteke in the first minute and scored himself in the second half as well. Manchester City versus Chelsea then, this finished 2-1 to Chelsea. This is obviously a bit of a precursor for the Champions League finals. Twice Tuchel's done Pep over the last sort of 3 weeks or so, and maybe that could make Pep a bit more hungry going into the Champions League final, but I'm sure Tuchel still want to do a job on him. But yeah, 2-1, it finished, it was 1-0 to City, goal from Raheem Sterling, Aguero missed a Panenka penalty, which was disappointing for him personally, and obviously that was pretty much the turning point. Second half, Chelsea turned it around and won the game, and put them in a sort of good position going into sort of the top 4 if you like. Liverpool versus Hampton, routine win for Liverpool, 1-2-0. I'll say routine, certainly the scoreline says it was routine. However, Liverpool and Anfield this calendar year haven't been great. 1-0 going into the last 10-15 minutes. They have dropped a lot of points, or well, drawn or lost points. So could have been on the cards again. However, they did get over the line, and that's a good win for them, and puts them a bit closer to the Champions League positions. However, I still think we'll touch on my predictions on that a little bit later on actually. Moving on to Sunday games, Wolves versus Brighton finished 2-1 to Wolves. Brighton were leading this game 1-0 until late, and then Wolves have scored two relatively late goals, especially the last one. I think it was in the 95th minute. Villa versus Manchester United finished Villa 1, United 3. Good win for United. Obviously, Maguire got injured in the game. Greenwood scored, Bruno and Cavani scored as well. So yeah, good win for United after Traore scored a terrific goal as well. It was a really good strike and Henderson had no chance. West Ham versus Everton finished 1-0 to Everton. It's a big dent in the West Ham's chances for Champions League football. Good goal for Calvert-Lewin, good pass from Godfrey into Calvert-Lewin. You could definitely look at the defending, very, very suspect. Nevertheless, good composed finish from Calvert-Lewin, and also keeps them in the hunt for a Europa League position. Arsenal versus West Brom finished 3-1 to Arsenal, so a good sort of bounce back result for them on the back of them going out in the Europa League semi-final to Villarreal. They have still got an outside chance of European football, which we'll touch on a bit more as we go talk through the results, but good win for them. Moving on to Fulham versus Burnley then. Good win for Burnley. Wood and Vidra causing a lot of havoc, especially Chris Wood. Whole team playing quite well, and whenever Popey was called upon, he did a good job. So good win for them. Man United versus Leicester. Now we touched on Man United had a triple game week this week when they had played Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So literally hardly any time to recover. So United in this second game played a second team, if you like. There's only Greenwood who played the first game, started the second game, and they've lost the game 2-1. So Leicester picked up a vital win. Sionchu scoring midway through the second half to score the vital goal. Greenwood had equalised after Thomas had scored an absolute worldie for the visitors. So good win for Leicester, and that sort of brings them closer to Manchester United and all but secures their Champions League positions. Southampton versus Palace. Good win for Southampton. Danny Ings on the score sheet, scoring a brace, back from injury. He's a massive player for them. If he's fit, Southampton obviously do well. Palace weren't the best in this game. I think that was kind of proven how they were made to look good in the Sheffield United game as well. Now Chelsea versus Arsenal, last game we'll talk about. Arsenal actually won the game 1-0. Bit of a dent for Chelsea's results and their sort of ambitions, especially after their good win against Manchester City at the weekend. And Arsenal back-to-back wins since the Europa League exit, and actually that's 3 wins in the league in a row, and that puts them 1 point behind Spurs in the Champions League position. So I think they're only maybe 4 behind West Ham. Now they have played I think a game or two more than other teams around them, so realistically it's a bit of a false position, but they've given themselves a fighting chance for possibly getting the Europa Conference position. Whether they've won that or not, I'm not sure. However, if they do go into it, they'll probably be the favourites to win it. There's also a couple of games that haven't taken place yet. So we've got Villa versus Everton and Man United obviously at home to Liverpool. Now, the reason why I couldn't get those games involved in this sort of chat, I couldn't delay the recording any longer because the timings and of the game week 36, i.e. starts in pretty much a day's time, so I couldn't wait another day and then get recording, and then this video will actually go out after the end, well before game week 36 starts, if that all makes sense, guys. So had to sort of delay and leave those 2 games. However, we'll talk about them when it comes to the end of game week 36. So going to move on to Indy versus Wrestling game week 35 results. Now there's obviously a couple of games that haven't taken place yet, and those points are obviously up for grabs still. We'll mention those, who got the points, etc. at the end of game week 36, as well as game week 36 Indy versus Rest of the World results. So this week I was against an old friend called James Salmons, good lad, Manchester United fan as well. Yeah, decent guy. He's obviously got involved, and yeah, we'll get into the results and we'll see how we got on. So first game was Friday night, Leicester versus Newcastle. Both went for Leicester wins. I went 3-1, he went 2-1, finished 2-4. So Newcastle won the game, and we both picked up 0 points there. Leeds versus Spurs, both went for Spurs wins. I went 3-2, he went 3-1, and obviously Leeds won the game 3-1. So again, 0 points apiece. Sheffield versus Palace, I went for a narrow 2-1 win to Palace. He went for a 2-0 win to Palace, and it finished 2-0 to Palace. So he's picked up 5, I picked up 2, so both off the mark. City versus Chelsea, both went for City 2-1 wins, finished 2-1 to Chelsea, so don't pick up any points there. Liverpool versus Southampton, both went for Liverpool wins. I went 3-1, he went 2-0, and it finished 2-0 to Liverpool. So he's picked up another 5, and I've picked up another 2. So big lead so far for the rest of the world. Wolves versus Brighton, both went for 1-1, and it finished 2-1 to Wolves. So again, 0 points apiece. Villa versus Man United, both went for Man United wins, unsurprisingly. Finished 3-1 to United. We both went for 2-1 wins, so we both picked up 2 points. West Ham versus Everton, I went for a narrow 2-1 Everton defeat, so yeah, win for West Ham. And Salmons went for a 1-1 draw. It finished 1-0 to Everton, so again 0 points apiece. Arsenal home to West Brom, both went for 2-1 in this game to Arsenal, finished 3-1, so both picked up another 2 points, happy days. Fulham versus Burnley, I went for a Burnley win 2-1, he went for a 1-1 draw, I picked up 2, he picked up 0. Southampton versus Palace, both went for 1-1 draws, it finished 3-1 to Southampton, so again 0 points apiece. Man United versus Leicester, obviously when we made our predictions we didn't know what Man United were going to be predicting team-wise, so we both went for Man United wins and obviously finished 2-1 to Leicester. We both actually went 2-1 for United and picked up 0 points there. And then finally we've got Chelsea versus Arsenal. I went for a Chelsea 3-1 win, he went 2-1 to Chelsea, obviously finished 1-1 to Arsenal, so again 0 points apiece. So what that means for, say, the half-time scores, if you like, Indy's on 10 points, rest of the world are on 14, so a 4-point lead. And then in terms of the cumulative scores, that means Indy moves on to 289 and the rest of the world move on to 302. So they've got a decent lead there. That puts them 14 points clear, if my maths is correct. Yes it is. Yeah, 14 points clear. So obviously there's them 2 games to go, so hopefully I need to pick up some good points. And we'll talk about that next time round. Then there's just 3 game weeks to go, which is absolutely fine. I've been saying this for the last 5 weeks. Plenty of time. You know, either team can turn it around, but literally now I've literally backs against the walls. I need to pull some results out over the next 3 game weeks and hopefully, you know, bring the inaugural title back home. You know what I mean? I say back home, where it belongs, where it should stay. So yeah, that is Indy versus the rest of the world game week 35 results. Thanks for someone for getting involved. Obviously, there's 2 more games to be spoken about, which we'll talk about after game week 36. Going to move on to game week 36 preview now. Just going to speak about a couple of games. First game is Newcastle versus Man City. Obviously, City champions now. They want to go and put on a good performance for their fans and put on a good sort of champions performance, if you like. We're on to Saturday. Nothing to sort of really shout home about, other than West Ham are playing Brighton away from home. Now this is West Ham's game in hand. They can reduce the gap to the sort of the 4th and 3rd, which was Leicester and Chelsea. It's a big game for them. Obviously, from Brighton's point of view, they're safe now, so it's just about league positions really. Moving on to Sunday, you've got West Brom Liverpool. Now that's a big game for Liverpool. Obviously, they're going to be pushing for the Champions League spots. Realistically, they're probably going to get Europa League spot, but they've still got the outside chance for the Champions League. And obviously, we don't know how they're going to get on against Man United. If they're going to pick up the W there, pick up W here, that's 6 points they would have clawed back ahead of sort of 3rd and 4th. And they'll be a bit more nervy going into the last 2 games of the season. Likewise, for Everton, they play Sheffield United on the Sunday night. They've got a big game there as well. No doubt they'll win that game. Yeah, so that's sort of a few games we'll talk about game week 36, guys. Nothing to really to shout home about. There's not loads and loads to sort of to play for. In terms of like Leicester and obviously Chelsea, they play the FA Cup final, so they're not obviously playing that weekend. And then we're heading into the midweek fixtures of game week 37, which we'll talk about next time. That completes another episode of our Premier League Appetiser show, guys. If you do like this type of video, please do drop it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so and click that notification bell. Every time there is a video uploaded to our channel, you will be notified. We'll see everyone next time.